All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. I hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, quite a move up today. 2.5% on the NASDAQ. We have pushed right into the daily 21 EMA. The last time we came in contact with this sucker, we got slammed pretty hard, and you had a minus 30-point day. Tough stuff. We're going to see if you get rejected here or not. In the weekly update, we talked about how we were looking for a minimum move to 600 to 605 this week. We're going to expect sellers in there. Why? Because you're coming right into the daily 21. You have the golden pocket from the most recent leg lower there. 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level right here, 607. You have the confluence for the sellers to step in. If they're going to step in, they're going to hold the 21 EMA. You get a daily close back above the 21 EMA. Cloud flips red to green shortly after that. Hey, you're probably going to get moving and grooving to the upside here again. Now, the level to watch in the upside, okay, to really show that the bulls are, they're taking a stance again here, 614.03. You get above 607, all right, it tells you you're likely going to 614.03. You get above the 0.786 fib. That's what I call the line in the sand for the opposing side. In this case, it would be the sellers, okay, because you got the buyers, okay, and the opposing side is the sellers there. Either you hold at the 0.786 or you're not going to see sellers step in there. And it tells us you're likely going to have 100% retracement, which in this case is the retracement of this most recent move down from 614.03 down to 580.74. So yeah, above 607, I'm going to say we probably are getting up to 614.03. If we do that, I'm going to be honest, but the path that I'm seeing is something like this. I think we're probably going to pull back regardless before heading straight up to all-time highs. Somewhere between 620 and 625 if you do take out 614.03. Doesn't mean you're going to stop there. You might continue a little bit. Test horizontal resistance right over here, 0.786 from the whole most recent move down from 637.01 all the way down to 580.74. Big. All right, big move down there, okay? 57 points right there, almost 60-point move down. But yeah, we're going to be retracing that. So we're talking this leg down right here. Get past that. We're going to look for sellers 620 to 625. And then, yeah, I think they pull you back to test the 21 EMA just from above. Regardless, we get to see tomorrow if we get rejection here at the daily 21 or not. All right, get back above. It's the first nice positive step there for the bulls. Okay, you reject, then that just becomes an area that we continuously have to watch for you to get above. That's where supply is going to be seen. And it's the same thing over there. You got slammed the other day from it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Okay, as far as levels go, watch 60. So you have 606.16. You came right up into it. That's where you are finding sellers today. And you head up into it. At the end of the day, it does look like you just kind of want to push through this area. I'll show you SPY after this as well. It looks very similar. So we're just going to watch the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level, 606.90. We'll just call it 607. Get above 607. That's right at the 21 as well. Get above there. You have 614.03. Above 614.03, you have 618.12 and then 624.86. On the downside, we have 599.74. 595.16. If you take out 595.16, you're giving back all of today's move. Not the best look for the bulls. And at that point, you got to be open to maybe they're going to send you down just a little bit lower. Now, that being said, I'm going to say this is the probable scenario from this point. I didn't think they were going to send you all the way up here. I did think we were going to find sellers between 600 and 605. That's what I was talking about in the weekly update. That being said, if they take you over 607, I got to assume this is now on the table, 614.03, and at that point, bulls are showing you on the higher time frames. That's you taking out a previous weekly high. If they do it this week, all right, that's a change of character there. That's bulls stepping now on the higher time frames. Okay, they're flipping the daily. Let's see if they can, get the weekly chart going. Regardless, we knew to be expecting buyers down at the weekly 21 EMA. It's the first test of there since we broke out to a new all-time high. A correction was bound to happen at some point. You had a 60% move up. You now pulled back about 10%. All right, 9%, not even. But yeah, we were expecting that to be bought over there. And now we get to see if it's just a dead cat bounce or not. We're looking for a 3 to 4% bounce off of last week's low. this week. That was the minimum move we were looking for this week. They managed to blow it out the water. You have almost a 4.5% move going on today, okay? Pretty nuts stuff, nuts. But now we see what happens at the 21. So that's QQQ. Let's go over SPY, guys. Same exact picture over here. You're right at the 21. That's where you rejected into end of day there. If you come down to the hourly, smaller time frame, you can see it looks like they want to just take you up above this area, okay? 670.23, that's your resistance. Above there, you're going to 675.56, okay? And at that point, same exact thing I was just talking about QQQ. I don't think they're going to take you right back to all-time highs. I think we're probably going to get sellers somewhere between 685 and 675, I'm going to say. At 680 and 685, most likely. But yeah, I do think they're going to pull you back and probably test the 21 EMA from above. Now that, we lost it, we got rejection here, we got rejection here. Well, you want to reclaim it, and usually it's going to be a process. Usually you don't just shoot right back up, and just be on your way. Look, you finally reclaimed it after rejecting all these times. Okay, you got the first daily close above it. What happened? Within a week, you retested it. So that's going to be the game plan over here. If you can reclaim it, get above 675.56, last week's high, we're still going to expect you to find sellers in this golden pocket from the most recent whole move down. Okay, this whole little correction we just went through, that's where we're going to be expecting sellers to step in between the 0.618 and the 0.786 Fibonacci retracements, which is between 675 and 681.40. Okay. Upside 670.23, 675.56, 681.40. Okay, above there 685, 689.70. On the downside, you're watching 667.29, 664.55, and then you have 661.21. You take that out, same as QQ. All right, same as, getting back to, today's low there, giving back the whole rally today. Not a sign of strength. The exact opposite right there. And if you get back down there, I'm guessing they reject you right here at the 21. And yeah, bears are just showing that they're still there. Okay, there's still supply sitting right here, as it should be. You should always be expecting that. That's where you broke down from over here. You're holding it. Okay, and then whoop, you lost it. You already had one retest of this area and the 21 right there. Rejected. Now we get to see if they do it again. Okay, that's SPY, that's QQQ. I'm going to come over to the VIX, guys. I told you in the weekly update that either they're going to send VIX up to new highs and SPY down to new lows Monday or Tuesday, or we know that the bottom is likely in for the time being, and it's going to take VIX a few weeks to get back to this high. All right, and by few weeks, I'm talking, honestly, anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks. Okay, this could be 1 to 2 months. I do think they're going to revisit this high at some point, though. Just give it some time. I do think that'll be the case. As far as the short term goes, I told you 1 to 2 days. Okay, the VIX comes up to a new high 1 to 2 days, and it's going to have the same action over here, which still tells us we probably have 1 more week of downside, and then your bottom's probably being put in, or it was going to start crushing. It's not going to hold the short term moving averages, and we start seeing an actual VIX crush get going here. And yeah, we have a bottom being put in, and we're not going to see VIX spike again, probably for 3 to 4 weeks. Regardless, I'll be paying attention to it. If you're watching these videos regularly, as we put them out 5 days a week here, you will know whenever VIX starts perking up again and looking like it's going to be doing what it just did. Okay. I was looking for this correction on everything up here. Okay, VIX was part of this whole equation on tracking the market recently. VIX has been a big component in that, especially in, pointing out the weekly 21 EMA. We told you, we're looking for a capitulation spike. No, we did not get that spike above 30, but, I'll say, I told you guys this when we were sitting down here. We're looking around 20, okay? It got almost up to 30. I'd say yes. Fear was in the market. Fear and greed index got down to 6, okay? At the April bottom, I think it was 3 days before you had a bottom in the market, you had that reading. So regardless, we kind of knew where the market was at. No, the market's not crashing. No, this is not a bounce before the bear market starts. That's not the case. Okay. It's kind of very clear what's going on here. This was your pullback reversion to the mean on the weekly time frame, just like what happens quite a bit. See all these times you found buyers. Oh, you lost it. You found buyers a week later and you reclaimed it 2 weeks later. And then within 3 weeks, from when you lost it that week. 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3 weeks later, you had new all-time highs. Okay. Oh, not all-time highs. .com. No. Okay, but you're at new highs. Regardless, till proven otherwise, this is just what you're just expecting the most probable scenario to play out. You expect sellers to be where you should be expecting them. Just like, we were expecting them to be up where you are right now. I just didn't think they were going to drive you right into these 21 EMAs right away. I really did not. I thought sellers would step in, dude, because again, they've been very violent recently. For now, at least they're gone. And tomorrow we're going to really find out, can we get a daily close back above the 21? Are we probably out the woods? We find that out tomorrow. Okay. And that's that. IWM, guys, broke up from this little base you got going down. Does have a daily close back above the 21 EMA. Nice sign of strength over there. IWM compared to everything else. It didn't really get much of a gap up with everything today. Actually, it got no gap up with everything today. But guess what? It still ended up closing up 1.8%. Okay. DIA, you're still underneath the 21 RSP. Okay. Equal weight. Guess what? It is already above Thursday's high there. Okay. So even though SPY is not above Thursday's high, the equal weight version of it is, which takes into consideration all of the components instead of these being so heavily weighted in, what we know controls the market there. We go over the Mag 7 stocks for a reason every video, guys, because it moves the market. That's what goes on. Okay. Those are the indices. We're going to go over the Magnificent 7 stocks here. We'll start off with Meta. Okay. Meta did take out last week's high here at 611.69. Above there, we have 635, 659.33, 691.20. 21 EMA is right around 630 to 635. Okay. Amazon. Pointed out in the weekly update that this is the spot you bounce back from. All right. The last 3 times tested. I don't think they're just going to get through this area here. I think we should be expecting sellers between, honestly around 230 to begin with. If you get over the 21 EMA, I think 238.85 to 242.52 is probably going to bring sellers back into the mix. We'll see what happens. We will see. But I do think, if the market's going to continue bouncing, I think this tests the 21 EMA around 231 in the short term, probably tomorrow. That's Amazon. And then on the downside, you're going to have, which around today's low, 222.75. You retest that area, you probably are going to revisit this low, 215.18, or at least you're putting in a base over here and maybe you make a higher low. It's going to take time is what I'm getting at. So if you take out this low, just don't have these bullish expectations here, because even the bullish scenario from that point is you make the higher low, or maybe you make a slightly new low over here. Okay. And then you have this basing process. Then eventually you get above the 21, and then you could probably start moving back up with the rest of the market. But, yeah, for now, this thing got crapped on. Okay. This is one of the best looking Mag 7 stocks. And, yeah, within 2 weeks, they killed this chart. They killed the chart. Now look at the monthly candle. They killed it. So that's Amazon. Honestly, I don't, it's not my favorite right now. It's definitely not. Apple is, which I was vocal about in the weekly update. I'm going to talk about why in today's video as well. Hey, market wants to keep pumping. Longs, you're focused on Apple. Market wants to keep selling. Shorts, you're focused on Tesla. That's what I said in the weekly update. Apple's gonna, I think it's about to do some cool things. And that being said, Tesla and Google went freaking insane today. They're up, 6 to 7% a pop. Pretty nuts stuff. Pretty nuts. All right, we'll talk about it in a sec. Microsoft, take out Friday's high, 478.92. Okay. We are going to have 486.78 and then 492.37. On the downside, 468.35 continues to act as support. Continues to bring buyers into the mix. Okay, that was today's low. Just got a decent pop off today's low. Decent pop. All right, Google, GOOG. You gap it up in the after hours here. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think anybody should be chasing this thing, so that part alone is self-explanatory. But yeah, that's what we talked about in the weekly update there. Yeah, you just had broken out from a 2.5 week range, I believe. Yeah, 3 week range right there. Just broke out, retested it, printed inside day on Friday. And yeah, I mean, today you just shot up into the sky. 320, I would say, is incoming tomorrow, but you're already at 321 in the after hours. I'm not going to tell anybody to chase this thing. I don't think it's a great idea at all. I think nobody should really be chasing this thing. I think at some point it is going to have another mean reversion or a sharper decline there. That can be a 15 to 20% drop. I think it gets done from slightly higher prices though. So that's Google. I don't think it's a good idea to jump in front of the train though. So do not think that's what I'm saying. That's Google. Tesla, big day today. Okay, big day today, just like SPY QQQ. You are sitting right at the 21 EMA. That's where you rejected into end of the day. You had sellers starting to step in around there. I'm not sure if they're going to get you above. Regardless, I don't know if this time is going to be different. You know, I'm not going to say this is the worst looking chart. It's not the worst looking chart. It's really not at all. At some point, Tesla goes boom. I don't think Tesla ever comes back down here. I really don't with what they got going on. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think this thing is going to have a larger breakout. Now, that being said, daily cloud here, your EMA cloud, it flipped red. Again, I don't know if it's going to be different. But for years now, we're talking like 5 years, okay? We are talking this whole entire time, okay? You see what I see? You know, 2021 to 2020, end of 2025 there. That's like almost 5 years, 4.5 years. Straight up, this has been a condition that has been followed. Every time you end up having a big rally over here on Tesla, if the cloud flips red, even if you get that bounce back over the 21 EMA, it normally isn't going to take out the high, and it was the beginning of the end of that move. Over here, eventually you did have a massive move out of this spot, okay? But it took months, okay? That is 2.5 months of consolidation. Do not be fooled by this bounce that's happening here. I don't think it's going to mount to a new all-time high. I think it's going to be sold. I can be wrong, but I will definitely be the facts guy here on this channel, and I'll suggest, hey, this is how this has gone in the past 4 years. I'm not going to argue with it. You shouldn't either, okay? Maybe you miss it. Who cares? Over here, look, it got so close to all-time highs again and still rejected and faded, okay? All you had to watch for was, oh, you know, EMA cloud on the daily time from it flipped from green to red, all right? Oh, this rally over here flipped from green to red. It's done. Oh, you got a rally going on out of this base. Okay, what's going on? Oh, it flipped from green to red. It flipped back to green. You didn't make a new high and you faded. Okay, rally right there, red to green to red. Yeah, you had another bounce. You do every single time. That's what I'm getting at. Over here, guess what? You had another bounce, but the fact that it flipped red over here, you weren't fooled by this bounce. It didn't make it up to new high. And so once that happens on one of these runs, it is the beginning of the end for a while. And we should be expecting, you know, months really until those highs are taken out. Maybe this time it's going to be different, but I'm going to remind everyone along this bounce here that it's probably not going to be different. And maybe I look like a giant ass because this thing breaks out to all-time highs and people are like, Henry, you were telling me not to trust it. What the heck? But I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think this time is going to be different. And I think people are going to be tricked by this. And I think I am helping people by just, you know, just reminding people these are the probabilities because this is what's happened on this exact ticker. Tickers have their own personalities, I like to call it. That's how I look at it. Tesla, this is just a part of its personality. When it has this characteristic trait come out, okay, this is what has happened over the coming weeks. Okay, so yeah, I do think you're going to continue bouncing here in Tesla. I think 440, 450 probably. And I still think it's going to fade. Okay, so that's Tesla. But you are at the 21, above the 21, which is right around 421. You have 428.94 above there, 0.618 fib, as well as, you know, this little spot up here you broke down from, it's at 439.61. Okay, just about 440. Downside, 414.50, 402.80. Okay, now we're going to take that out. Downside, 414.50, 401.09. Take out 401.09. Probably going to come straight back down to lows, 382.78. That being said, most of those moves, like we just pointed out, okay, you get this move back up and then it fails. It does not make a new high and then you come down. So, I mean, you can honestly get really close up to that high and you still can fail it. Okay. Regardless, that's Tesla. Nvidia. All right. Buyers stepping in today. You're underneath these moving averages. I'm not going to say it's the best looking over here. I'm really not. that being said, it's not terrible. You're holding the weekly 21. If they want to start bouncing back, I don't think it's just going to shoot right back up to highs. I talked about in the weekly update, you know, they've had a lot of damage to these higher time frame charts across the board, especially the big boys, you know, even QQQ and SPY. I don't think they're going to drive this thing back up to highs. You know, I just don't think they're going to do it right away. I think it's going to take a few weeks. I do. I think that's why I talked about if they get you through 614.03 here on QQ, I still think they sell you down before making new highs. I think it's going to be somewhere around this 0.786. It's 625, right around there. Maybe 626, 625 there. They pull you back, retest this key spot. Okay, very key spot here. You got a battleground going on here, battleground going on here around the week 9 EMA, battleground going on here. It's going to be a key spot to reclaim, and they're probably going to retest it. Okay, you know. So those are just going to be my expectations. But I'm telling you, you get above 614.03, the path just becomes a lot cleaner. Okay, we have clarity, and yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, now my favorite, guys, you know, I didn't say a lot about Nvidia here. Resistance is 184.48. Okay, but you know, really nobody should be long in this thing right underneath unless you are planning on to catch a larger swing up. I would have loved for this thing to keep selling a little bit more. I would have loved to see sub 170. Daily RSI would have came down to 37. It didn't happen. They don't want to make it easy. But, you know, you got rejection a few times from these moving averages here. Until proven otherwise, same as SPY and QQ, we should expect rejection right where we're, you know, coming into. But if they do want to pop it above 184.48, you're going to be watching that 21 EMA, which currently is at 187.80-ish, right around there, 188. So from 184.48, watch 190. If they can take it back above 190, okay, 190.11 there, I think they get you back to 195.62 and then $200 in the short term. But yeah, you're going to need to get through this key area here, which is, like I was saying, the 21 EMA. It's in 188, okay? But 190 really is the level you want to clear, and then it tells you a bit more. Okay, because as of right now, you have overhead supply. You can't do nothing about it. I can't say what's going to happen. I'm just giving you multiple scenarios you can go off of. You got rejection here, where you pull back, maybe a higher low, then push up. You got rejection here, where you come down to new low, and probably that's going to be your bottom that you put in over there. All right, and then you got not rejection here. You come over here, maybe retest the area, push up through there. So, you know, I don't know how exactly it's going to shape up, but it's going to be one of those guys. So that's the video. Now, my favorite of them all, guys, is pound the table. This is, you know, it's the long of the week over here. It's going to be Apple. I think Apple's going to pay a lot of people out. I think I'm going to be the guy who helped a lot of people get paid out over here on Apple. This is looking beautiful. It's looking like they just really consolidated this for 3 weeks straight in a bull flag above the daily 21 EMA. They pulled it so calmly back into it as the market was shitting its pants. Okay, as the market was just boom in the gutter, Apple just held up so strong. And I'm telling you, for this whole run here, since you had based out over here, you had your April bomb and you based out for months. Market wants to recover. Apple didn't want to do anything. Okay, it finally starts moving up. You got your first breakout. Almost a 5-point move that day. Okay, take it 2 days later, 15 freaking points. I'm not saying that's about to happen, but this is one heck of a move over here that is definitely, it's loading. It could fail, but it's loading. It's locked and loading. It's not even loading. I've been talking about it. It's been loading for 2 to 3 weeks now. This thing wants to fly. Okay, this thing, volume's pouring in the past 2 sessions, baby. This thing might just be about to take off. Okay, this is top watch right now, guys. But you know, that was the first breakout. What happened on the second breakout? Almost a 4-point move that day. The second day, you almost got the 5-point move. You got a 6-point move if you gave it 2 more sessions after that. Next breakout after that. So the third one along the sequence is a 5-point move that first session. That second session brought you up to 15 points. So now that's 2 out of 3 where you got the 15 points in 2 sessions. That's what I think this is queuing up to be. I think we're about to make a bag. I think it could be this could be a banger. Okay. And yeah, it'll be a cool thing. It'll be cool. But yeah, that's 3. Oh, what happens on the 4th, you ask? Oh, another 5-point and 1-day move from that breakout level. Okay. What happens on the 5th? Oh, another almost 4-point move that first session. Okay. So we're looking for a 4 to 5-point move. This first session, once you break over 277.32, It might be happening tomorrow. I just know Apple, and you can just look back, and there's very few times where you do just kind of have these, you know, over here you had the 3 green sessions, okay? But I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of just consolidate you here and they don't break it tomorrow, because I just know how Apple's been trading. But, you know, they might send it. They might. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If they want to send this thing above 277.32 tomorrow, I'm all for it. Regardless, whenever they break it over that 277.32, I think you get that 4 to 5 point move that same day. And then hopefully, just hopefully, you get, you know, this is going to be one of these, you know, one of these times where you get the 15-point move within 2 sessions there. Okay. Regardless, weekly candle chart. Look at this bad boy. It's pretty. Oh, it's pretty. It's sexy. It's beautiful. It's in a sexy red dress right now, and it's either drawing everyone in before they take their money because it's going to be the biggest false breakout ever, all right, or they're going to give us our move because it looks so absolutely beautiful. Odds favor the move, guys. This is 3 weeks of consolidation is now breaking out here. This looks beautiful, okay? It looks beautiful. It's likely going to go just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4th week you break out, okay? Probably going to be the case here. It's sexy. It's beautiful. And it should be top watch right now, in my personal opinion. All right. When a Mag 7 stock sets up like this, you take note. Okay. People didn't think Google was going to keep going. I thought it was going to keep going. I didn't have the cojones to play it all these times. Okay. You know, I was early on GOOG. I think it was when it was breaking out of this structure right over here. Did I think the thing was going to double? No. No, I didn't think the thing was going to fucking double over the next 3 months. This is a magnificent 7 freaking stock right here. I thought the days of these guys doubling were over. Okay. I thought Nvidia was an exception. No, Google decided to say, screw you guys. I'm the next $5 trillion market cap. And now it's a $4 trillion market cap. Is this thing just going to keep going? Is this the next Nvidia story that everyone just swept under the rug here? Nobody wants to pay attention to Google over here. I'm telling you, this is not the hype. Okay, this is the same action you had on Nvidia, and people aren't just as hyped. I'm just saying. Okay, you're getting similar style moves here as you had on Nvidia, and people are not really, you know, where are the Google parties, huh? Where are the Google parties? All right. Either way, guys. Apple top watch. Google continues showing strength. I wouldn't be touching up here. But then again, Nvidia never pulled back. Well, it did pull back actually. It had a lot of pullbacks along the way. Don't listen to that. But for a while it didn't pull back. But I think somewhere before the $4 trillion market cap, it definitely did end up getting a hefty pullback there. But yeah, this, I'm telling you, Google is doing this kind of action with this kind of market cap right here, okay? When Nvidia was worth, yeah, you know, somewhere in here. Actually, more. Yeah, actually, you know, Google is right underneath Nvidia's market cap. What am I talking about? Nvidia is not the market's prized possession right now. It's Google. That's what I'm getting at. The whole narrative is changing. It's now all on Google. So Nvidia is dead. Google's the next big one. But Apple, I'm telling you guys, all jokes aside, okay, you know, I joke sometimes, but this is the market. We're talking about real money here, and Apple is the next Mag 7 stock that I'm going to pound the table on. And yeah, I think it might take off tomorrow. It might consolidate for a few sessions, but no matter what, I think it's going to happen this week. I think it happens whenever that first day is. We're looking for that nice move. Okay, we just spent 10 minutes talking about Apple. We're gonna move on now. Okay, we gonna move on now. But that's really what I wanted to talk about in today's video, guys. I ain't got too many tickers. Most tickers are looking beautiful. Okay, I pointed out APP in the weekly update. You're just about to take out last week's high. Okay, you know, I don't know if this thing's gonna go through this basing process where it keeps giving you 10 to 15% moves on, you know, a weekly basis, and then giving them back. And then, you know, this is 4 to 5 weeks. You had the same exact 10% move. I don't know if it's going to give you that action. I really have no idea. I just know once you go through these corrective periods here, you either get that multi-week basing action there, which is going to look like this. And then eventually you launch out of there. It's going to look similar to this guy right here. All right. So that's one path that stocks take during this. or they shoot up past moving averages, retest them, and then they still probably go through a basing process just from a little bit higher. It looks a little bit cleaner. All right. Or they want to just have that V-shaped recovery, which is the least common of all of them, which I don't think that's going to happen because of, again, how a bunch of these monthly candles are looking. I don't think they're going to give massive lower wicks and small bodies on the monthly candle of, of November here. I really don't think that is going to be the case. I don't. It just would look really funky across the board, and it would kind of tell me that, I don't think they're taking it up to all-time highs in December without giving you at least a hefty pullback there in December. Regardless, APP, this is one I like down here. I do. And aside from that, guys, I'm going to say Meta. I already gave you the top trade at Apple. Okay, I think that is the cleanest setup I could really point to right now. KO. Before it was this was the cleanest setup I could point to, but as of right now, everything's really bouncing back. You got things like ONS, massive move today, guys. Okay, it's at almost $9. I personally don't think they're going to give you much more this week on ONS. It's already a 30% move. I have a feeling they will pull you back. So just realize there probably is going to be a better entry point. Maybe it happens from slightly higher. Okay, if you see this thing go up to $10, I think it still pulls back either sometime this week, end of this week, or it will be next week before advancing. So just realize that is how the ticker trades. You can see on these weekly candles, okay, every other week you get a lower wick or, gap down. Okay. But like every other week, you get one of those lower wicks going on. So no matter what, I don't think they're going to send you much higher than what they already did. Like 30% on the week. That's a big move for ONS over here, even if it's ONS. I don't think it's going to have another 70% move. Hey, I could be wrong. Time could be different. I don't know. But I just have a hunch they're not going to send it. This week. I think they'll probably wait for December. And look at it this way. They could close out the month strong over here in ONS. Next month, give you a little pullback with the, next week, pretty much. Okay. Then guess what? You're going to have a little lower wick on the monthly candle. Then if they take you up past that high, that's going to be really nice for, it looks like you want to continue up to 1170, and then boom, you got a breakout. All right. And then next stop up here. It's really your only next stop is $16. Well, I lied. No, actually, that's right there. Okay, so yeah, above 1170, $16. Either way, ONS. I like ONS. But yeah, that's really most tickers right now are getting these aggressive bounces. Okay, there's things like Oscar gapping up today. Crazy amounts there. Okay, a 20% move. You have Cypher, you have Iron. So I'm going to point these guys out. Like Cypher looks really nice for a move above 1756. Looks like they might consolidate you, give you some action like that, and then bring you up. Or they might just send you through this area. I'm really not sure. This is what I was saying, how we have a few of these scenarios that we could be paying attention to. It's going to be one of these guys, okay? But we don't know exactly how it's going to shape up ahead of time. That being said, you got a bunch of inverted hammers across the board. Iron has a similar candlestick as well. What happens when you take out that last weekly high on these inverted hammers? Same thing over here. All right. Well, that tells you that next move is likely upon you. Okay, so I like Cypher over Iron, but I really like how Iron tests the weekly 21 here, and if it takes out 54.06, I think it's not going to be long until it's back above 60 to $65. And then Cypher is also one I'd be paying attention to. Get the break above 1756. They might wait until next week to really bring you above $20, but I do think that's where it's headed next week if we can break above 1756 this week. Okay. All right, so that's Cypher, that's Iron, okay? KO continues to see these dips bought over here. Look at that, okay? That is a crazy lower wick you have on the day. I think this is probably going to be consolidating over the next few sessions. I wouldn't expect it to just rocket from here, but continue expecting dips to be bought over here on KO. It has not been trading with the markets, but doing whatever the heck it wants to do alone, okay? Not with the market, alone. All right. And that's all I have for you guys today. There are a lot of names across the board. Okay. You can honestly just pick your favorite ones, pick whatever you've been eyeballing. It's probably bouncing pretty well today. At the end of the day, most of these tickers are still underneath the daily 21 EMAs. So I will continuously just put the strength on your radar. And I'm still going to say a Mag 7 stock setting up like this when the market has been correcting and now the market is starting to reverse, the things that were holding up, showing the strength, have been pointing out some of these things, the things that have been showing that strength. Once the market starts reversing, that's when they, a lot of times get those next legs up. You get to see the next market leader. And I know, Google over here, yeah, it's got the whole, AI with Gemini. Okay, the whole narrative is switched, like I was talking about earlier. You think Nvidia was a nice turnaround story. Dude, does anybody not realize that Google in a year, okay? Why did I even have to think about this? This was in April. It looks so stretched that it doesn't feel like it's in April. It's a 120% move. Guys, this is over $2 trillion of market cap they put into their market cap. What? Like, this is the AI story right here. They're doing what they did with Nvidia. They reshaped the narrative to GOOG. What if the next one is Apple? I'm just saying. This chart looks beautiful, in my opinion. Okay, either way, I'll stop talking about it. But I'm doing my job of pounding the table on a big name before it goes. And yeah, all right. I hope you guys are having a good time. I do hope you're having a good time. Okay. All right, let's see how RKT. All right, that was one we mentioned in the weekly update. I just, one last one before we clock out here. Okay, 1844. That's the base. Top of the base over here. You're watching for the breakout. If you can get over there, I'm telling you, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of basing. You're breaking out of. This looks like this could get some boom candles all the way up to $20 in the short term. So put it on your radar. Okay, it was on the focus list this week, but it's one, I pointed out in the weekly update there. That being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want to come trade with me, that link is down below. If you guys want half off of the lifetime membership, just use code BF. Yes, BF. It stands for Black Friday, though. It's not boyfriend. But yes, code BF will get you half off. In tomorrow's video, I'll change it to code thanks. But as of right now, that is the code. And that is that. But either way, yeah, I'm live every day. And yeah, I hope you guys really do enjoy these videos. Please just remember to leave a like if you are finding value in these videos. I do know, hey, I'm leading people in the right direction every step of the way. And I really just hope you guys are having a good time. And with that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of the night, and peace.